In the Undertale community, people are already accustomed to see fangames be announced, come out as demos, then disappear as the developers lose interest. So, why would it be different with this one? Or, what is this game even about? So in this video, I will explain exactly what our team is working on and what the fangame is about. To make our concept more clear, this video will be divided into 3 parts: story, combat, and new mechanics. In the story section, we will explain what the fangame is about, and the story we want to tell with it. In the combat section, the combat system of the game will be fully explained, as it does add a lot of new elements, including borrowing a number of things from Deltarune. And last, but certainly not least, the new mechanics section will explain all of the major changes in relation to Undertale, Deltarune, and their fangames, including an unexpected turn with the open world genre. Now, let's talk about the story. This fangame is a direct prequel to Undertale, taking place immediately after Flowey is revived by determination, but after all previous humans have already fallen and died. Our story begins by retracing the events of Flowey's first life, serving as the game's introduction. However, it is only once Flowey becomes aware of his new powers that it is time for the game to truly start. The story will revolve around several problems happening in each area of the underground. And you, in classic Undertale fashion, can either help everyone, or make everything worse by going on a random murder spree. But the actual story goes much deeper than that. Over tenths of variable runs and endings will appear the actual main theme of our story, showing Flowey's downward spiral, going from an innocent little goat child to the killer flower we see in Undertale. And you heard me correctly when I said tenths of runs. But we will get to that later. Now let's talk about combat. The combat system has its similarities and differences from Undertale's battle system. We are going to look over all the changes this game made. The fight button is the one that got the most significant rework. Note that we are also utilizing the TP system from Deltarune, which can be gained in much the same manner. Another novelty is that every enemy has a set chance to dodge your attacks, making for a harder combat experience. Differently from Frisk, Flowey has 4 attacks to choose from. Vine Slashes serve as the basic attack, which does not spend any TP. Friendliness Pellets do significantly more damage, however, they use 50% of the TP bar. For 30% of the TP bar, you can use a Vine Grab, preventing enemies from dodging for the rest of the fight. However, do note that this might not work quite as well against bosses. And finally, the Bullet Circle, Flowey's infamous full circle of friendliness pellets. This attack cannot be dodged, and deals the most damage out of any attack. However, it does cost the full 100% TP. That is all for the fight system. Now let's move on to the selling point, what the game has that makes it different from other fangames. A really important change is the achievement list. The game's objective is to complete it. It is filled with interactions and tests, which explore each of the possibilities that the fangame's programming has to offer. Another minor but noticeable change is that Flowey is far from being a silent protagonist, talking to NPCs through dialogues or replacing a narrator by giving his direct thoughts on objects or battles. Now let's finally address the elephant in the room. What do I mean by open world Undertale? As soon as the first cutscene ends, the player will be able to press the T button to instantly travel to any save point. And that means that you can clear the areas of the game in any order. For example, you can start in Waterfall, then go to the ruins, clear a new home, go to Snowdin, and end in Heartland. And the story changes based on the order, which leaves you with 36 different possible storylines, 72 counting genocide. The way this works is that time passes based on sections. All areas start at section 1, but whenever one of the storylines is cleared in any area, all remaining areas move on to section 2. Each section of each area contains a different storyline, for pacifist and genocide. Now let's move on from all that to explain how Floweytale's genocide route will work. There will not be any random encounters, as monsters have no reason to attack you. This makes it so you have to attack them. After completing their first full run, the player will be able to use the spacebar during any monster's dialogue to initiate a fight with a Vine Slash. You will only begin having random encounters once you have already killed enough monsters to be considered as a threat. The order in which you kill determines which areas have more time to prepare against you, and which boss will be the final survivor, which has to pull out all the stops. There are a total of 10 separate boss fights planned using the following characters: Toriel, Napstablook, Sans, Papyrus, Madenyalt, Undyne, Alphys, Muffet, Metal Neo, this time fully upgraded, and Asgore. This concludes our explanation. If you're interested in this project, or if you would like to receive frequent updates and teasers on the game, consider joining our community Discord, which you can find on this video's description. That's all we have for now, but this channel will upload some songs from the game's OST as well as the first cutscene, so consider subscribing to the channel. Goodbye.